Journalist and poet Walt Whitman once announced, "I like the scientific spirit, the holding off, the being sure but not too sure, the willingness to surrender ideas when the evidence is against them." During COVID-19, and indeed in the heat of other public debates about complex moral issues, the refrain, "Trust the science," has emerged as a dominant theme. Yet, we live in a time where conspiracy theories abound. Dr. Daniel Jolly from the University of Nottingham argues that a conspiracy theory involves trying to explain an issue as a result of the actions of powerful forces rather than normal, everyday activities. Conspiracy theories flourish about wide-scale issues like immigration and vaccines and groups such as Jewish people, but can also be focused on a fascination with the lives of celebrities. Take, for example, how in a matter of weeks, the alleged disappearance of Kate Middleton snowballed from a niche interest to a social media frenzy. Dr. Jolly has demonstrated through research that if you're perceiving the world through a conspiratorial lens, that is going to govern who you are, who your friends are, and how you interact with other people. Furthermore, he adds, pre-existing beliefs, specific personality traits, and exposure to certain types of content can lead individuals to embrace conspiracy theories as a way to cope with uncertainty and inequality. The physical resurrection of Jesus, proclaimed by the gospel, is so not a normal, everyday activity that it is not difficult to believe that this story fueled conspiracy theories offering alternative perspectives. The disciples faced great uncertainty, were frightened, and struggled to believe the story of the disciples who claimed to have met a stranger on the road and then recognized that stranger as Jesus when he broke the bread. Luke, in today's verses 35 to 48 from chapter 24, describes the risen Jesus appearing into this fragile context to define the disciples startled and terrified. I recently read about a young aerospace engineer called Sam, who described himself with the following words: "For most of my life, I've been addicted to certainty. I'm just beginning to understand that certainty and faith are vastly different things." For this young engineer, faith was about perfecting his biblical worldview fortress. It was a design project for him to manage with an efficient, linear aggressiveness. Then something unexpectedly happened. Sam became convinced of the reality of climate change. For him, the scientific evidence was undeniable. Yet, an American political candidate that his Bible church group wished to endorse because of the candidate's resolute anti-abortion position rubbished climate change as a hoax. Sam began for the first time to hold an opinion different from that of his Bible study members. He initially tempted himself to stop believing the view that when it comes to politics, that abortion trumps all else. Then he felt unsettled that holding such a view might lead to a divide between himself and his Bible study group. He reaffirmed his commitment to stop listening to scientific views, to not watch secular television, to intensify his Bible reading, and even to vote for the candidate whose character had precipitated his doubts. Almost 2 years later, Sam began to doubt again, and in his own words noted, "I suppose I was in denial about my addiction to certainty." Sam, for a long time, had seen certainty as the same thing as truth, and that there can be no meaning without certainty. The disciples in our Lucan passage struggle to believe and are riddled with doubts. Jesus patiently engages with them. Jesus encourages them to look back in time and to look to the future. Jesus teaches that the scriptures must be read in the light of his death and resurrection. Sam read a book called We Make the Road by Walking. Not just the book's content, but the idea of road as metaphor helped Sam reach a decision. He would keep faith, but rather than a faith that forbids all doubt, he would move forward with a faith that any God worth believing in would be able to love him as doubter and would rather him be honest than a pretender. Sam concludes his sharing by saying, "I guess I finally realized that faith was never meant to be an engineering project." We live at a time where people simply don't trust the media, government, and other institutions, and are therefore prepared to endorse alternative ideas. Research suggests that if a person believes in one conspiracy theory, they are more likely to entertain others. Luke's gospel was written to open our minds and not to close them. The disciples are witnesses to the truth that there can be meaning without certainty. They are witnesses to God's emphasis on enduring forgiveness. Praying with the resurrection story can help us rise above baseless conspiracy theories. Amen.